Hello, Brianna. It's nice to meet with you again. How have you been?
Well, thank you for asking.
What are your goals and objectives for this meeting?
I would just like to know that I'm able to retire when I would like to, and based on all the information, just even adding funds to super, just so I can retire when I would like to.
Yeah. In your fact find, you stated that you earn $70,000. Was that before or after tax?
That's after tax.
Yes. And you also mentioned you didn't have any dependents. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
yeah. So I don't have any dependents, but I do have a 26-year-old son named Frank.
Do you want to add him as a dependent?
He lives on his own in Brisbane, so he's not dependent on us.
And you mentioned in your health details about your parents still being alive. Would I just be able to double check their age?
Yeah, so I think I made a mistake last time. They're actually 80 and 83.
All good. And your reasons for meeting today were to go over your investment strategy, your consolidation of super accounts. You want to contribute to super,
Mm-hmm.
all correct?
Yep.
And you mentioned you want to establish a cash reserve. Do you have any um
Yeah.
ideas of where you would like to do that?
So I would like to, in my personal bank account, have at least $15,000 all time, just in case. I currently have about $9,000 at the moment, so I would like to build that up, but also having some funds put away in a separate investment.
Yeah. Um, since you're coming to retirement age, are you looking to access your age pension anytime soon?
Not anytime soon, probably after I retire. Um, I would like to access Centrelink if I'm able to. However, it's not a main priority of mine.
And when was the last time you reviewed your estate planning?
Yeah, so I recently met with my lawyer, made a few changes to my will, and then I also updated my EPOA.
Yeah. You also mentioned you wanted to contribute to super more. How much are you willing to contribute each year?
Each year, I could probably put away a maximum of $10,000.
Have you looked into any types of investments?
Yep, so I dabbled in shares, direct shares. I currently own around just over 2 grand in Telstra shares and around 35 grand in Wesfarmers shares.
And how much excess cash do you have per month that you're willing to invest? Or are you
Um,
happy with your current contributions to your investments?
I think I would like to add a little bit more to my investments. On a regular basis, I would say $500 per month. Um, and then in the future, if any lump sums come in, I can throw them in there.
You also mentioned in your lifestyle objectives that you wanted to do some domestic travel and
Mhm.
that you wanted to buy a home within the next 5 years. How much are you planning on spending each year for travel?
I think it's just domestic travel up to 7,500 a year. If there was to be an overseas trip, that would take a few years planning and I probably wouldn't domestic travel. So I think that 7,500 a year should be sufficient.
Yeah. And since you're planning on downsizing your home, what are you planning on doing with your old home? Are you thinking investment property or selling?
I think at this stage I would like to sell the home. I think it's worth around 900,000 present day value. I've owned and lived in it for about 20 years, and I think, yeah, I have a residual mortgage amount of approximately 25,000.
Yeah. You also mentioned you planned on retiring at 65. Do you know what your yearly living cost would be?
In retirement, I think about 40,000. Personally, that's not including my husband's funds as well, just personally 40 grand.
Yeah. And will you need to access any of your investments in the near future for the house, maybe?
I'm planning on using the funds from the sale of my current home to pay for a new home. I don't think I would need to use any funds.
Yeah.
I'm expecting it to be about 450,000 for the new home.
And so you've got about 9,000 in the cash reserve at the moment, but you wanted to up it to 15, hopefully. So that's all good. Are you planning on purchasing anything other than the new home in the future?
At this stage, all my cars are pretty newer. I don't think I would need to upgrade them, and I don't have any planned big expenses.
Yeah. Are you planning on selling any other assets in the future or gaining any inheritance?
I'm not selling anything in the future, possibly if I needed to, the shares that I mentioned earlier. Um, I also expect that once my parents pass away, I would receive half a share of their home and assets, which is about 400,000.
Would I also just be able to ask you what your current investment percentages on your super accounts are?
Yeah, so for my ART account, it's about 70% in growth and 30% in a balance. And for my Q Super, I think it's just in one of those lifestyle.
Yeah.
Um,
And would you consider rolling your Q Super into your ART?
yeah, definitely. I think having two funds is a bit confusing.
Yeah. You don't have any insurances in the Q Super one?
Not that I know of. I don't think so, no.
That's all good. We can check that one anyway. And with your beneficiary nomination for both those ones, you've got legal representative at the moment. Did you want to change that one to your partner?
I had a chat to my lawyer about this, and she actually recommended to have the legal representative just because I've got provisions in my will around my superannuation.
Do you have any other questions for me?
Not at this stage. I'm excited to see how we go with creating the financial plan for the future.
Yes, all good. I'll get started on that one. Thank you for meeting me today.
Thanks. Nice to meet you again.